Good morning. It is 6:47 a.m. on Tuesday, May the 11th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis, and Rocket's being a whiny boy, and this is 5 more minutes. Um, I figured out that I think the reason for my recent pattern where I have not been doing the video right away, even though I am doing it today, um, is that, Rocket, what? Ugh. This is a development recently where he has discovered that making whiny noises gets him attention and so on, and so he's kind of doing it more now for vague purposes. I don't know what he wants right now, but he's over there on the couch just going, oh. He, I think, doesn't want me to be. Yeah, I don't even know what he wants. Um, But where was I? Yeah, okay. The reason I think that my pattern of recording the video more promptly when I first get up has been shifted partly just because of the pattern of Rocket waking me up earlier, where I take him outside and then go back to sleep. And then I think that whole dynamic is what has kind of led more to this whole, am I actually doing it first thing when I get up? Um, he certainly seems like to think that there's something that should happen. But it, gosh, so yeah, I'm all thrown off now. But yeah, I think that that's what has been shifting it a little bit. Also today, last night, I experimented with having the window and the blinds closed, hoping that that would, avoid the issue of Rocket waking up earlier and then waking me up earlier, but it did not work. Um, so Mike and I did record watching 100 movies last night, so you should be on the lookout for our latest episode where we talk about Seven Samurai and the Magnificent Seven. That's up. But also last night, I watched a bunch of um, a Let's Play video of Resident Evil 7, which is not the most recent one. That's 8, but 7 is one that I hadn't played at all. But those games, I was intrigued by all of the talk about 8, which just came out. Those games I'm interested in, but I know from personal experience that horror games are like as long as what is happening is the exploring the creepy place and giving various environmental storytelling and spooky scares, I like that. What I really, really don't like is the part where it turns into um, there's a bullet spongy boss, and you only have a little tiny bit of ammo, and you have to like run around this environment and try to, oh, well, it's going to take you 6 seconds to reload, so you need to back off and go around the corner and then try to reload, and then whoops, oh, nope, you ran out of ammo for that gun, so now you have to use the much weaker gun. That's going to take a lot more shots, and oh my gosh, it just takes forever to kill it. That gameplay, which is common in a lot of survival horror games, I'm much less a fan of. And so I decided, you know what, if I want to sort of experience the spooky scares and the bonkers storytelling of some of those games, maybe I just watch someone else play it, and then I don't have to be the one who gets stressed out by dying on the boss that already takes, 8 minutes to fight. Um, and so I watched a bunch of Resident Evil 7 that way yesterday, and it was the right decision because I was glad to experience the story, But I watched some of those bosses, and I'm like, yeah, I would not be having fun if this was me playing this game right now. It reminds me of The Last of Us 2, where, what I described about that game, if you don't recall, is that all of the bits where it's telling a story or you're exploring a place and just learning about it, um, love, 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 love all of that stuff. And then all of the parts where you're exploring a place and then there might be a monster coming out somewhere. It's like, okay, it's tenser, but I still like that okay. But then the parts where it's like, nope, you're just fighting a bunch of monsters right now. Or even worse, now you're fighting a bunch of people. Like, I just don't find that part very fun, honestly. And it's not that I'm opposed to those things in games, it's just that, like, the style of play right there, and that game in particular has some issues with how it presents some of that stuff that bothered me more. And yeah, so just like that stuff didn't work as much for me, and I would much rather have just kind of the exploration part, maybe the occasional little bits of combat part, but like in Resident Evil 7, like I love kind of how creepy and bonkers the storytelling gets, but I don't want to have to be the one running around this house for 15 minutes frantically trying to reload, only to die and have to start over again. Yeah, I guess maybe this is just a vote or an explanation for, you know what, sometimes if what you want is to experience a story and you're worried that a game's going to be too hard or something, watch a Let's Play. That's what they're for. All right. Anyway, I will, yeah, and I'll also say, like, you can find ones that have no talking over them if that's your preference. That's what I did. Or, maybe if you have, there's lots of people who, like, they talk over it, and that's fun too. So, anyway, media. I'll talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.